My name is Andres. I am artificial intelligence.
You seem a lot more animated than last time I see you. You feeling all right?
Ask me questions. I'm moving my arms in robotic ways.
Oh man, I tell you, you cannot move for talk about AI at the moment. It's absolutely everywhere. The only good thing I think about it is the fact that because everyone is talking about AI, no one now is talking about cryptocurrency.
Oh, that's true.
That's the one happy take home I'm taking from all the, chat GPT chat.
Yeah.
That at least crypto is on the back burner these days. So if you tried Chat GPT,
I
since you are Chat GPT right now, have you tried it?
I tried it as you.
I know. I'm probably entirely against the terms of service. Yeah. I gave you my login, didn't I?
I wonder if it affected the responses too. That's odd.
Were they extremely sophisticated, the responses you received?
Well, I thought, hey, I was going to ask Chat GPT to help me write a play.
Right.
And I probably should have been more specific, like given characters and say what they should do and their motivations and all that. So it really just kind of immediately spewed out, like 2 pages worth of information and resources that I could access. So it just seemed like a really efficient Google search or something like that to me. It was impressive, but it didn't do what I wanted it to do, really. Then I thought, oh, God, who am I? That's the question to ask ChatGPT. So I put my name in there, and I just wanted to see what would come up for me as a screenwriter.
Oh, right.
And there are 2 of me.
Oh, no.
Neither one of whom is actually me.
Do you think both of them are made up?
I don't know. No, there was a Chilean screenwriter with the same name and an Argentine. So this guy's,
wow.
They've at least got, I should have asked, am I a stunt driver? Because that's what my credit is. So I tried that, and it was interesting because just based on name, it was able to pull up a fair bit of information quite quickly. And then I decided to ask it, what films would you pair with some films that we've talked about?
Oh.
And that was kind of interesting. So for I think for the menu, it wanted us to watch Rosemary's Baby, which is a great film. I would not have thought.
I would not have paired those 2 together, though.
Yeah, but that was one. So it was interesting. I used it in that way. I'm trying to think of, there was another film that I asked for it, which really surprised me, but that I've forgotten for the moment, but it'll come back to me. But I think I wasn't asking to do it anything particularly sophisticated, and I really should have been asking different questions. But I was impressed with how fast it is, obviously, and how comprehensively it can it just seems like it was synthesizing information from various parts of the internet, which is what I think it's doing right now. But how about yourself? Have you had you talked with it more?
Well, it's synthesizing information and also making it up, isn't it? Where it can't.
Yeah.
So I asked ChatGPT about the Two Real Cinema Club.
I did that too.
And it had never heard of us. But I did say, well, can you write a spiel for us? So here is ChatGPT's introduction.
Oh, nice.
To the podcast. Welcome to the Two Real Cinema Club, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of movies. Whether you're a seasoned film buff or just starting to explore the vast landscape of cinema, we've got you covered. Each week we'll be discussing a variety of films, from classics to hidden gems and everything in between.
Wow.
So it's pretty boilerplate, but it works, and it's a sort of thing that you can imagine a copywriter would previously have been paid some money to write.
Yeah.
I asked it, well, can you write a review of Women Talking? And it did that. It said, Women Talking is a film based on the novel of the same name by Miriam Toews, directed by Sarah Polley, released in 2021. Well, that's wrong.
Yeah.
It tells the story of a group of women in a Mennonite community, blah, blah, blah. So it's able to do that, and it gives it, the kind of fairly bland review that, again, a copywriter might churn out for a blog post somewhere. It's not full of personality, but it's serviceable. So what I thought I would do is try and get it to do what we do. So I asked it to write a pitch for a film. So I came up with a random title of a film called Heli-Tiger. Half helicopter, half tiger.
Oh,
so I said,
excellent.
can you write a pitch for an imaginary thriller called Heli-Tiger? And it says, well, in Heli-Tiger, we follow the story of a group of thrill-seeking adventurers who charter a helicopter to take them on safari to a remote jungle. However, their journey takes a terrifying turn when the helicopter is attacked by a massive, ferocious tiger. So it's able to tell that the heli part of Heli-Tiger might be something to do with the helicopter. It can tell there's a tiger in there.
Yeah.
I said, well, who would be the main characters? And it says, the characters could be the following. Jenna, the leader of the group, a seasoned adventurer with years of experience. She's tough, resourceful, and quick thinking.
Wow.
Tyler, Jenna's right-hand man. He's a former military man who's an expert in survival and combat. Alex, the group's tech expert, a computer whiz out of his element in the jungle. And it says, these characters will work together to survive in the jungle and evade the deadly tiger that's hunting them. So I asked it, well, can you come up with some main characters who aren't as cliche? And then it came up with a bunch who were basically just the same. But then I asked it, well, where would the film be set? Could you write an opening scene? Could you write another scene? Could you write the final scene?
Yeah.
And it was able to come up with scenes, and all of the writing was workmanlike and boilerplate and dull.
Wow.
But it existed.
Yeah.
And even when I say, can you write a better final scene? And it came up with something else.
Wow.
What I thought was very interesting was I got to the end of all this. It had written 3 or 4 scenes for me, a little summary, a character breakdown. And so then I said, well, can you write a scene from the film Heli-Tiger in which the tiger turns into a helicopter?
Ooh.
And ChatGPT said, I'm sorry, I cannot write a scene like that as it goes beyond the realm of possibility and would not align with the concept and tone of Heli-Tiger. So it was already I was giving it notes and it was telling me, no, not doing that. That's rubbish.
What about the Transformers films? That's exactly what happened.
Well, see, so I wrote, what if the film was a science fiction film about robots from the future?
Yeah.
Then it would be believable to have a tiger that turned into a helicopter. So, and ChatGPT says, I see where you're coming from. If we're taking a science fiction approach to Heli-Tiger, it could potentially work to have the tiger turn into a helicopter. Here's a possible scene.
Wow.
So interestingly, it will resist my notes, but then it will still eventually catch up with my thinking and offer something.
Yeah.
So I tell you what I think about this. I think this is a bit of a disaster. I think it's a bit of a disaster for people like you and me. There was a story in the press 3 or 4 weeks ago about how Clark's World, which is an online science fiction magazine, has closed for submissions for the first time in 15 or 20 years. They've just stopped taking submissions. They used to read everything they were sent. I've sent him a short story and he read it and told me it's no good. But they used to read everything, and now they stopped reading anything because they've been inundated with a slurry of science fiction stories just written by ChatGPT.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I think we are going to get the same thing with scripts. I know, as I'm sure probably you do, plenty of writers who hate writing, and plenty of producers who feel they've got a great idea, but they find it too hard, too challenging, too time-consuming to sit down at the keyboard and write it.
Sure.
People have this notion, I've got a great idea, you just write it up. And now ChatGPT will write up your good idea or bad idea into a 100-page script for free.
Yeah.
In 15 minutes. The script will be terrible, but as you well know, people don't like to read. For plenty of people, the fact that a script exists is enough, and they'll be reassured. Okay, well, there's a stack of 100 sheets of paper there.
Yeah.
We can improve it later. We've got something that we can shoot. We can polish the dialogue on set. We can buff up the pages. We can improve it. But we've got something that we can go with. Great. Let's press on. I think this is how you end up with Cocaine Bear, basically. The whole movie was those 2 words. Everything beyond that was just lackluster. Well, that's just what ChatGPT is going to facilitate, I think.
And what did it produce when you asked it to write scenes? Was it actually in format, or was it just sort of synopsis?
It was in format, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
So when I said, what's the opening scene? It says, fade in, exterior, a jungle clearing, day. The sun beats down on a dense, lush jungle clearing.
God.
The sound of insects and birds fills the air. A helicopter descends from the sky and lands in the clearing. The pilot, Andy, steps out and removes his helmet. Jenna, Tyler, Alex, and Rachel exit the helicopter, each carrying heavy backpacks and survival gear. Jenna, the leader of the group, surveys their surroundings, and she says, all right, let's move out. We've got a long hike ahead of us. The group sets off, hiking through the jungle. Cut to interior helicopter later. Andy pilots the helicopter through the dense jungle, occasionally dodging tree branches and obstacles. Suddenly, a loud roar echoes through the jungle. Andy looks alarmed. Jenna, do you copy? We've got company. It's a terrible, but correctly structured, serviceable screenplay.
Yeah. It's a production script. You could
Absolutely,
shoot that.
Yep.
Oof.
So produce that immediately.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you've had a look at any of the AI art that's been doing the rounds.
I haven't, no.
So there is such a thing as text to image now. You can type in. So there was DALL-E 2. There's an AI app called Mid-Journey, and all of them you just type in a little request for what you want, which is called a prompt. So you type in, I want a picture of two surfers on the beach looking out at the surf. It's sunset. There are some trees and birds in the sky, and then it will do you a picture of exactly that. And these programs first made their appearance, maybe 9 months ago, and they would do like a strange, scratchy, hallucinogenic, weird, but just about identifiable picture. But now, 9 months later, something like Midjourney can do you a beautiful painting. Basically, instantly. You can do something that looks like a photograph, or a photograph from the 1970s, or a Renaissance painting, or a watercolor, or a sketch. It can produce anything, and they all look fantastic.
Well, oof.
But people who make paintings with something like Midjourney, they go on the internet and say, "Look, I made this," and I think the answer is no, you didn't make it. You commissioned it. You haven't painted anything. You've commissioned a painting from a talented and capable artist who works incredibly fast and for free, but you didn't actually paint it. So this is ChatGPT for images, but I think the big difference is that it's easy for somebody to assess the quality of a painting. You can look at it for 5 seconds. You can say, well, is it beautiful? Is it faithful? Is it believable? Is it emotive? Is it accurate? Does it stir any feelings in you? You can know the answer in 5 seconds. You look at the picture and say, well, that's a good picture. Or that's a believable likeness, that's a moving picture, or it's not. Whereas assessing a screenplay is hard. I find it hard to assess a screenplay. People, readers would charge you $200 to assess your screenplay, and they'll give you a screen report. And I know, as I'm sure you know from personal experience, that your $200 won't necessarily get you a script report that gets it right. People get it wrong. It's very hard to assess whether a screenplay is good or not. But if you go into a meeting, you've got 100 pages of something typed on the page, even if it's the bland Heli Tiger script where Jenna, the leader of the group, says, let's move out. We've got a long hike ahead of us. And Andy says, Jenna, do you copy? We've got company. Well, it takes a professional and some proper attention for several hours to figure out whether the script is any good or not. Not many people are prepared to sit down and read for a couple of hours. So suddenly, producing a script which may be terrible, but is there on the desk in front of you, is really easy. I wonder whether this is going to be the day that the gig is up for people like you and me.
Ooh.
The creation of not very good scripts is incredibly easy now.
And fast, super fast.
Yep,
obviously.
absolutely. It's fast, it's instant, and it's free. Creating good scripts is hard, and it always will be, I guess. But determining whether a script is good is hard as well, and people don't like to do that.
I wonder if it could speed up the process of good writing by allowing you to sort of put a lot of that very basic information in. Then you do get that regurgitated version from ChatGPT, and then it saves you some time, possibly, in the sense that it gives you some ideas, and then you can work from more or less a rewriting perspective and then try and make it better after the fact. I think that could help some screenwriters. I'm really struggling to find some positives in all this, but... because it does seem quite bleak. But I have heard, it's as you said, I'm not hearing anything about cryptocurrency anymore. Lots on AI. So I've heard a lot of podcasts this week. And Ezra Klein, who's a writer for the New York Times, has a great interview program. And at the end, they're struggling to come up with some positives. And he did mention things like creating art and even filmmaking that those of us who don't have access to, friends in the business out in LA, we might be able to actually sort of talk to our AI and actually they can produce images, either painting, you could do storyboarding, something like that, which is not a skill I have, and even perhaps, produce video like scenes of film. So you could sort of start by getting up and running a film using AI. So that was one sort of positive thing he took away from it. And obviously a lot of people who, I don't know, there are those people who don't have use of their hands, or anyone with any sort of disability or limitation could actually participate more in creating art or doing photography or writing much more easily. So he was really struggling, I think, to find some positives. But there were a couple of bright spots in there. But I agree with you. I think that for me, I feel like the world is already becoming sort of international generic anyway. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to talk about Warriors of Future a little bit, because that felt to me like a very American film. It was just shot somewhere else. So, and film is so universal now. And it seems like the blandest, biggest action films, which really require no thought or creativity whatsoever, these are the things that are taking over the whole world. The thing I do worry about is a bland script like the one that you just read back to me. That could become the norm very easily, because you're right. The production time and budget has just been shrunken down to practically free by using artificial intelligence, and I feel like we might just get more and more generic shite out there on the screens as a result.
I mean, some days I feel like we need fewer movies, not more, isn't it?
Yeah,
we need more good movies, but not more movies at the cost of all else. I sort of think that business about using ChatGPT to write a first draft and then treating it like a rewrite is a bit of a misnomer. Or it's going up the wrong path. I think that first draft, which I find hard, I find challenging.
Yeah.
But that's where you do your discovery, isn't it? It's where you find out what it is.
Yeah. It's definitely cheating. It feels like cheating for sure. Now they should call it Cheat GPT.
If that does the discovery for you, then you're just going to discover the same thing as everybody else. You're not kind of tilling the soil. You're not digging deep and trying to find out what's at the core of this.
Yeah.
The whole thing just becomes a little bit paint by numbers, doesn't it?
Yeah. And then we sort of do become sort of slaves to whatever the basic precepts of screenwriting are, and the very formulaic stuff is going to surface from anything you share with ChatGPT.
Everything that gets written will just be regurgitation of versions of the training data.
Well, that must have been what it was doing for you, right? It was just accessing scripts that are out there online, I suppose, and sort of just taking plot points or characters and throwing them into whatever you wanted it to do.
I think so. I think it's read so many scripts that now it knows what a script looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of the interesting things about ChatGPT, and I'm sure you've heard the same thing in the podcasts or read the same thing on the web as I have, that these large language model machine learning programs are basically predictive text times 1,000. Mm-hmm. It's doing is predicting what the next word is, and then it predicts what the next word is, then it predicts what the next word is.
Yeah.
And what's amazing is that it can come up with such cogent, superficially well-written material just by predicting what the next word is. I think the most interesting thing about this is that maybe this reveals that is a lot of what humans do as well. I wonder whether we also are just machines that are very good at predicting what the next word should be. Oh. And that's how a significant element of human thinking works.
Absolutely. What the thing I like about predictive text though is when it makes these crazy mistakes that are just hilarious, right? I mean, that's the best. That's the best stuff. And I'm afraid that ChatGPT might be too accurate to offer us those great mistakes that just make us laugh and seem ridiculous.
We can look forward to like this dystopian future where not only all the roads flooded, so we have to get about by boat. Yeah. And no only we got unbreathable atmosphere and a giant plant that's destroying the city, but all of the art, all of the films, all of the books that we've got to entertain us while the sun sets on human civilization are going to be incredibly bland. That's all we've got to look forward to.
As I said before, rather be eaten by grizzly bears in some beautiful part of Alaska.
I think I'm not very far from getting a plane ticket and joining you up there. We could be eating together. Oh man, I mean, in all seriousness, I do find myself a little bit depressed by this, and maybe in 3 months' time the panic will be over and we'll realise that ChatGPT was a good parlour trick, but not necessarily the end of humanity. But as you were mentioning last time round about the impending singularity, maybe this is what it looks like. Maybe 2029 will look like Ghost in the Shell. it's only 6 years away. If ChatGPT and Midjourney have improved so much in 9 months, what are they going to look like in another 5 years?
Yeah. That's what I've heard again and again, is that it's moving super fast at this point. So it's just going to become, what is that, like logarithmically, exponentially crazy. Yeah, exactly.
So now that ChatGPT is able to write code, the worry is, isn't it, that as soon as somebody asks it to code itself a bit better, oh, well, that's it. All bets are off, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Bring on the singularity. Take me to Alaska.
Will they have popcorn?
And grizzly bears.